I don't even know where to start. I don't usually make a lot of videos about people, and it's a little weird for me, but I can't help myself. There's one thing that Keemstar said that I kind of want to focus on for this video, and that was that, Keemstar saying that DSP is playing a character. I don't think Keemstar thinks that all of Darkside Phil is fake or it's a fake persona. I think he thinks that the needing money is the character, and I'll try to explain that throughout this video. I don't think he's acting. We have seen instances of him acting in the past, and he's not good at it. I think he's just in denial. This has been a very exhausting experience. I'm going to need a stiff drink for this one. So, when it comes to the money, I don't think his money problems are as bad as he says. And I think that's what Keemstar means. I mean, how could it be if he's able to waste so much money? He still somehow manages to pay his bills every month, but also waste a ton of money. Something doesn't really add up here. DSP seems like the kind of guy that could have millions of dollars, but still get on the internet and just act like he needs your money to buy his groceries. And I think that's the character he's talking about. It's like a character, but it's not a character. It's almost like he's playing a poverty-stricken, YouTube streamer. So I think what you see is real, but it's also fake. Like, he's a real guy, but his need for money is fake, but his want for money is real. Everything with him is about money. Something I've wondered a lot, and I think Keemstar wonders this too, is he a lolcow because he's from planet Darkside, pretending to be a human being that needs your money, or is he a lolcow because he can't allow himself not to be at this point? Not without admitting that he's lying. So he doubles down and just keeps going straight forward into the lies, hoping that sometime we'll all come around and come to the light side. Oof, bad pun. It is hard to think that he's full on playing a character when he did get mad about the "this is how you don't play" stuff, where he's like, this ruined my career. If this was all just a character, he wouldn't really care about that. But he cared a lot about that. Maybe unless he was just mad that he didn't do it first, but I don't think so. He seems to think very highly of himself. I find it hard to believe he would do anything that purposely made himself look bad. 15-year legacy and all. He's clearly in denial. I think he is the way he is because he has to keep people from penetrating his wall of obliviousness. Because once it comes down, he has no defense left. He almost has to pretend that he doesn't understand when people call him out. And I think that's what Keemstar means. I think that's the character he's playing. Does that make sense? I hope this is making sense. Phil can't take advice from anyone that makes sense because he would have to break down his walls of safety. Even Keemstar said, embrace it. Embrace the things you have done. But DSP has so much pride for some reason that he just can't allow himself to be. Imagine being the guy that had a wank on stream. I mean, maybe that's why he holds on to his pride so much. Maybe he feels like he lost so much pride that he's grasping at anything to try to not be a lolcow. But it's just in a vain attempt. Or maybe DSP just really doesn't understand anything. I don't know. He told Keemstar that Keemstar is unself-aware. DSP told another human being that they are unself-aware. Doesn't that make you just want to punch a hole in your wall? I mean, there's some irony for you. Although, I do think DSP maybe is a little more self-aware than he lets on. And I think that maybe that small bit of self-awareness is the character. Does that even make sense? How the frig do you explain this? This guy is a mindfuck. I do think the DSP is an oblivious buffoon, but I think when it comes to money, he's definitely a little bit more aware than he lets on. But he can't break down those walls because he may actually get in trouble. I don't know. I don't know what can happen to him if he admits to wasting a bunch of money on that game with having a bankruptcy case and all that stuff in the past. I'm not sure how that goes. Could be too that he's afraid that people that are supporting him will abandon him. Now don't get me wrong, I don't think the character that I'm talking about here, or even what Keemstar means, is like a fake persona. I don't think the guy we see on screen is a fake character. It definitely seems like DSP is not a regular-minded person, but it does definitely also seem like he's hiding behind a curtain. He likes to pretend like everyone is an idiot. He calls people idiots all the time. And he always says that they're talking about things that don't matter because he doesn't want them to matter. He tries to avoid those things, but it's things that everybody wants to know and wants to ask him. He desperately has to pretend that he is just the most unluckiest guy on the planet. You can kind of tell when he's lying too. Like his voice will change a little bit and he'll laugh kind of weird. It's a pattern that if you watch him enough, you'll pick up on. He would be great to play poker with. He blows my mind. It's like he's walking around with a gun and he's just shooting people in the face everywhere he walks. But as he's running and shooting at everyone, he's like, "What are you chasing me for? I don't understand. What did I do wrong?" He's mind blowing. And I need another drink. He also treats his audience like they're in a classroom and like he's like a pissed off teacher. It is very bizarre and strange. You have to listen to teacher DSP, and it can be just infuriating sometimes to watch his streams because of the way he acts. We all see what he can't, or what he pretends to not see, but he probably just can't see it. And you know, Keemstar wanted to help him. He wanted to give him $50,000 just to sign on to be on the LolCal podcast. $50,000 of good faith, like, hey, you do this, I'll pay you well, and we're gonna make more money down the line. But DSP never even gave him the chance to talk about it because he wanted him to email him. You know, he didn't want to talk on the phone because you might interrupt my stream. That $50,000 phone call was way more important. Keemstar, I will become a LolCal just so I could be on your podcast, dude. Like, I can't imagine turning that down. That is so crazy to me. The problem is it would put DSP in a place where he isn't struggling for money anymore. And he said he doesn't want to be beholden to Keemstar, and he wants to be in full control so he can control his own narrative. If he spends too much time with anyone, I think he thinks that they will slowly break down his wall. And I think the reason he wants people to email him is so he has time to come up with either a good excuse or anything. Because if he's talking to you one-on-one, kind of like this interview he did proved, he's not good at that. So he needs to type to you where he can't see you and he can just come up with whatever he thinks is the best reply. And I think that's one of his problems with Keemstar. Well, besides holding a grudge against him for, you know, doing a story about him when he fapped. I mean, who could forget about the burst of May 1st?
I'm coming for you.
You know, I wonder if he would hold Keemstar in such low regards if he wasn't a LolCal. I think DSP doesn't like Keemstar because he wants to pretend Keemstar is a bad person because Keemstar did a story on him. I think of all people, DSP fears Keemstar the most. Keemstar has the resources to go out and do things. And I think he thinks Keemstar is the one guy that's going to figure him out the quickest and easiest. Like, Keemstar even wants to make a documentary about him. I think DSP is super afraid of Keemstar, so he avoids him. DSP's walls are constantly up, and he has to pretend that anyone that sees the truth is a troll or a detractor. And he might even know it's all bullshit, but he can't allow himself to show it. Nothing is DSP's fault. It's always the detractors. And if you weren't a detractor, you're a detractor now. All it takes is you to say one negative thing about him. This video probably marks me as a permanent DSP detractor, even though it's probably the only video I'll ever make about him. This is exhausting. Speaking of exhausting, you know, he always says, you know, people take him out of context and, oh, nobody watches my stream, guys. You know, you only watch clip channels of me. So I checked out some live streams over the period of the last few months, you know, because I've been going down this rabbit hole for a while now, just kind of watching to see what, you know, what would happen, because I saw other people talking about him. And it became a little fascination with me. So I stopped into a couple of live streams. And the dude's either falling asleep on stream or he's telling the classroom that they aren't contributing enough.
Give me money.
But let's be honest, his streams are boring. How am I supposed to sit through it all? And also, DSP, just because you have like a 4-hour live stream and you maybe do one shitty thing in the stretch of that time, it doesn't make that shitty thing any less shitty. He thinks because things don't happen often that it's not a big deal. But they're still happening. And he definitely did not think that interview went well. He will try to convince people that he's like, oh, guys, that's how it was supposed to go. That's what I expected. He's full of it. He has to pretend that he's not bothered by it. But it's so obvious that he's bothered by it. And this pretending, I think, is the character that Keemstar's talking about. It's a character, but it's not, you know? Fuck. I mean, even his body language shows clearly that he was uncomfortable in that interview, that they were talking about things that he didn't want to talk about. And it's not their fault. They weren't wronging him. These are things that everybody has been wanting to know because DSP makes this stuff everyone's business. Oh yeah, and later, after this, like at some point he probably figured, well, my only out here is to say, well, I set a trap. I set Craig up. I set Adam up. I trapped them. It's his only defense. You know, it's always a trap. DSP's the smartest guy in the world, you know. He's always setting people up. But like when he does stuff like that, he's basically just milking himself now and handing out the milk to the detractors. And like he always tells people, hey, guys, make up your own mind. Don't watch detractor content. The problem with that is there's so many detractors because they have watched him. They have all come to the same conclusion from just listening to things that Phil says. And that's exactly what happened to Craig. It's obvious to all of us. DSP is the only one that doesn't understand why we all come to the same conclusion. DSP does this to himself. He is his own worst detractor. He thinks everyone else now is a detractor and that they all set him up. The problem is, for that whole long-ass interview, all the evidence he put out to try to prove his innocence just made him look worse. It just made him look guilty of everything. And it just keeps happening over and over and over. He does this to himself. But he just keeps doubling down. Anytime somebody calls him out, he just goes full force into denial. You know, I was always kind of on the outside looking in, watching what was happening. I never had like a strong opinion. Obviously, I had opinions, but I never felt compelled to talk about them until now. Like I said, he's always saying, nobody watches me. Nobody forms their opinion on me. Well, now we have a long interview of you laying it all out for us. I watched that whole interview. I watched the whole thing. And after that interview, nobody has to go watch his content now to understand who he is. He wanted this to be the place where everybody can go to have all their questions answered. And it is. You go there and you will see everything you need to see about DSP. He laid it all out on the interview. Well, as much as DSP will. And it did him absolutely zero favors. It's why I'm talking to you here today. It showed me everything I needed to see to form the opinion I have. And that's what happened with Adam and Craig. The weird thing is his supporters, after the interview was over, acted like they were too hard on him, like they set DSP up. But DSP is like, no, I think it went well. Everything happened as I expected it to. He's pretending that it didn't bother him. Even though right after that he turned on Craig, but it still didn't bother him, right? He wants to pretend that he's not bothered, but he's clearly bothered, and that, again, is the character. Come to think of it, this character is just him lying. It's a character, but it's not. It's just DSP, the human, the real man or alien, lying. His lies are his character. Like, I can't imagine being someone that, you know, follows DSP and is a fan of him and thinks he looks good after this interview. But there's people that do. Like, you would have to be from Phil's planet to believe that. DSP just kind of wants a normal online experience. But he's been his own worst detractor for so long that it's pretty impossible at this point. The closest thing he had to starting over was this interview with Stuttering Craig. A lot of people would have got maybe a little bit of respect for DSP and he took this opportunity if he just owned up to everything. He really could have asked for a start over, a clean slate here. The only problem with that is he's afraid to go away from what he's used to. He is complacent. He doesn't want anything to change. And he must not be struggling that bad, right? He has built himself up something that he knows works. And anything that deviates from that, maybe he's scared that he won't be able to come back to it. You know, every day that he doubles down on his lies, he puts himself deeper and deeper into the DSP rabbit hole. You know, a lot of people have come by and given opportunities and lowered a rope down into the hole so he could grab on and pull himself out. The problem is DSP always thought it was a trap, even though he's already in one. Stuttering Craig and Adam come along, you know, and they see this hole, they see this giant well, this DSP rabbit hole with a crowd of people around it. And they come up to it and they're like, guys, what's going on? And they look down and they see DSP down at the bottom. Craig's like, holy crap. And he throws his own rope down and he lowers it down and he's like, come on, DSP, grab a hold. You can do this. And for some reason, DSP looks up and he does grab it. He grabs a hold of Craig's rope. He 98% trusts Craig's rope. And everyone's like, holy crap, guys. DSP grabbed it. He grabbed a hold of Craig's rope. I think the quartering's rope was somewhere there too, but that accidentally lowered him down further into the hole. DSP grabs a hold of the Craig's rope and he starts pulling himself up. And he pulls himself up maybe a foot or two, and he's looking up and he sees Craig, and Craig's looking down and he sees DSP, and they make eye contact. And as they're making eye contact, DSP's probably thinking about leaving his comfort zone and what if I let this man pull me out of this rabbit hole? And I think he got scared. He got scared of leaving his comfort zone behind. And since DSP is basically constantly running with metaphorical scissors, he grabs his scissors. And as he's looking at Craig in the eye, he takes his scissors and he cuts the rope. And DSP starts to fall backwards. And Craig looks down and they make eye contact one last time. But this time, DSP fell so hard that the ground starts to crack. And Craig, he's not done yet. He doesn't give up just yet. He lowers the rest of his rope, the final length, what's left of his rope, back down. He's like, come on, DSP. You got this. You can do this. Grab my rope. It's not too late. Grab the rope. But DSP doesn't. He lays there, and the ground continues to crack, and it breaks. And DSP falls further down the rabbit hole. Further down than anyone's rope can reach now. Everyone's standing around, they watch this, they see it happen, and they look over at Craig. And Craig looks around with confusion, and he's just like, I tried, guys. And Craig turns around and he walks away from DSP. And as Craig is walking away into the distance, you hear something. You hear DSP yelling from the bottom of the rabbit hole. You hear DSP say, I got you, Craig. I got you. I tricked you, Craig. I'll prove it. You're just a detractor now, Craig. You're just like all of them. You're just a detractor now. You set me up. And that's kind of what it felt like to watch this whole interview. It was sometimes uncomfortable to see how uncomfortable DSP was. But the problem is he put himself in this situation. And this whole thing was like the lolcow Super Bowl. I don't even know how to end this video. I hope what I said here made sense. There's so much lore to DSP. I feel like others have said everything already. I wanted to focus on this particular aspect of this character that Keemstar has brought up. I don't think DSP is thinking, oh, I'm going to play this character on screen. I think the character is accidental. But my drink is gone, and I think it's time to end this video. So if you watched this video, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. It does mean a lot to me, and maybe I'll see you around on the internet again someday.